With every review, do I come closer to my own execution? Hello everyone, it's Cobra, and welcome to my review of 1939's Gone with the Wind. Beginning 4 years before the Emancipation Proclamation, this film is most famous for Clark Gable's character not giving a damn, and it is quite frankly, my dear, a long-winded affair, in one that naturally has attracted attention for its controversy. Now, as with the quote, I just don't give a fuck. The film is split up into two parts with an intermission in between. And throughout the film, every single scene, I cannot stand Scarlet. She does my fucking head in. And I cannot sympathise with any of these Confederate slave owners. Like, why should I care about your troubles when you're literally holding human beings prisoner just based on their race? And why are the Yankees seen as the bad guys? I mean, I could accept it if it was the perceived notion of the protagonist in which we see the film through their eyes. Kind of like a fucked up film, like, like some of them foreign French dark dramas type things. But it's not, and that's why it's so bad. Whereas the audience are meant to think, those damn Northerners ruined the good times of the South. Now, the cinematography is remarkable. The story and the characters are a drag. In the earlier part of the film, upon thinking of this deeply, I understand that they wanted to make a Civil War epic, and at the time, epic was this length of film. But I've seen longer films that were made earlier than this, such as 1927's Napoleon, and that film could justify its runtime because it's endlessly engaging. This one simply can't. The last hour and a half is easily the best part, but throughout the 4 hour runtime, there were at least 3 moments where I thought of turning it off. The film could have achieved the same purpose in a much more condensed 2.5 hours, especially since the last 30 minutes were damn near perfect. And as for the racism of the piece, it certainly looms over the production. Look, I'm not one of those cancel culture people that believe we should ban films or avoid them. Quite the opposite. I believe we should look at these films and address them as a product of their time and learn from the past. I'm a person that has a great love for history, so it was important to me that I watch this film both as an avid history buff and as a film buff who enjoys classic cinema and can admit that there were some moments of this film that made me uncomfortable as the film intended, and there were moments that were not intended by the piece that simply did not age well. I don't think that we should avoid discussion on these topics, especially in this day and age. It's more important than ever that we discuss them, because through censorship do we become blind to the truth and the history of cinema and artful media. Censorship is not as big an issue in my country of England as it is through the state, and I believe that it breeds the same type of racism apparent in this piece when we censor this material, because I personally was never banned from watching mature films, and I believe it trained my thinking towards acceptance when you compare it to a more sheltered from the world types. I went on a tangent, but the performances were fantastic, and I suppose the costume design was great. However, the depiction of black people on screen, especially the way they talk in these films, is pretty damaging and cringe-worthy. Despite the fantastic performances, I can't. I'll leave a link in the description to an article that you can read that has a perspective from a person of colour, because I don't think that I could accurately portray the feeling that someone of a marginalised community would feel towards this film accurately without coming across as offensive, which is the last thing I want to do. Gone with the Wind is a descendant of the birth of a nation from 1915, the foundation that American cinema is built upon, and I gotta say that I agree with that statement before any other. You can definitely say all of these stereotypes throughout the film, issues that Hollywood is only now unlearning, which thank God it is, now if they could only make some good films this year. I've rewatched sections of this film, particularly the last hour and a half, but I doubt I'd ever sit through the whole picture again, and if I did, it would surely be in the distant future. I would not go out my way to rewatch this either. It would most likely be if it was on the TV or if someone wanted to watch it with me. Great Balls of Fire. This is a saying that Scarlett says throughout the film, meaning a traditional love-struck person, but let's be honest, every time you hear it, you think of the 1957 song, a song I'd rather listen to on repeat because I love that song. then watch this film, because that song is a legitimate masterpiece. And this film is claimed to be a masterpiece. It is not. Finally, the most famous scene in the film, and one of the most famous in cinema history, considered to be the most famous quote: "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." As a modern audience, unless you were alive at the time as a member of my family who once discussed this film with me, you cannot comprehend how shocking this was. The idea that the word damn dare be put into a film, not so much a film itself, but the idea, because I mean, Scarlett said it earlier in the film, the idea that a man would direct that word towards a woman was insane. In conclusion, it's a bad film to start off with. It has a good conclusion and the best breakup scene in history. Do I think you should watch this film? That depends. Are you a film buff? Or are you into classic cinema? Or are you a history buff? If you answer yes to any three of them questions, then yes, you should watch it. If you tend to enjoy more contemporary films, or you're not an avid film watcher, then you can avoid this film and you won't miss out on much. 7 out of 10 and 3.5 stars. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all in the next one. Goodbye.